This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Joining us today is Ben Turney, the CEO of Kavango Resources. Thank you very much for your time today, Ben. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Mark. It's obviously a bit chilly up in the UK, but yeah, I'm very good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Just finished the Mines and Money Resourcing Tomorrow conference. The theme was definitely gold and uranium, but there's definitely more of a buzz than last year. Hopefully, that's a sign of the sector perhaps warming up a little bit, unlike the weather. But here today to catch up on some of the latest news from Kavango Resources. So you've had some updates on the KCB. You've been doing airborne surveys, is that right?
Yeah, well, they're just about to commence now. So we've signed the contract with NRG, and this is part of our levelling up strategy that Dave Catterall has been overseeing. We recently completed the acquisition of 90% of 6 new prospecting licenses in the Kalahari Copper Belt, which basically join up our ground around the Hansi project to our Karakubis project out in the west on the Namibian border. And what these licenses give us now, Mark, is control over a complete geological system where we've got clear physical evidence of it, that it's a copper mineralizing system. So we've got very interesting existing geophysics data, both from surveys that we've flown and work that we've done, but also the data that we acquired from ENRG. So the goal of the levelling up strategy is to get all of our data on all of our prospecting licenses up to the same level so that we can take a very clear regional view on the most prospective areas, and then from there work out where the best drill targets are. So it's really quite an exciting development for us.
Indeed, it's good that you're back active in the KCB. I mean, would this be more of a focus of the company going forward? And when would you like to get some drill targets identified and indeed a program planned?
Okay, so we're hoping to get the drill targets identified in the new year. So the surveys should be flown this side of Christmas, which will mean we'll start receiving the data within the next couple of weeks. We then need to run it through the inversion software, and it needs to go through various processing. Jeremy, Hillary, and the guys will be doing that for us. So I think at some point during Q1 next year, we'll have the targets. And at that point, we're then ready to move straight into drilling. I mean, one of the things that Kavango has been consistently good at over the last few years is getting drilling underway on our various projects. We have drilled a lot of meters, and so we've got the right contacts, we've got the operational setup. The team on the ground is now very experienced in this. So yeah, we're ready to go. And of course, having secured the financing from Pure Bond and the Consagra family, we've got the financial firepower to be able really to ramp up activity across all of our programs. So the KCB is very much in our line of sight at the moment, while we're also building up in Zim as well.
Yes, well, of course, Zimbabwe as well. I would touch on that in a moment. Just on the KCB, then, I mean, apart from finding copper, will there be an advantage to? Or sorry, not an advantage, but is there a specific objective that you would want to achieve from the upcoming drill program?
Well, we want to make a major discovery. I mean, that's what we're targeting. What we're seeing from the geophysics is that there are indicators of these domal structures, which are the controlling structure on other deposits in the region, these large-scale copper-silver deposits. So it looks like we've got the right shape of targets. We've got some indicators of sulfides from some geophysics that we've run and some geophysics that ENRG ran when they were controlling the ground. So that suggests sort of chargeable bodies subsurface. Obviously, we can't say for certain if they're metallic yet, or what type of metal I should say they are. And then we've got these surface indicators and drill results from ENRG. I think one of the things that the market's missed is that we've just picked up as part of this deal 5,500 meters worth of drill data, and from what we can see, that data hasn't been completely analysed. It wasn't ever sent for assay testing, which was one of the things that really surprised us when we were doing our due diligence. So we're currently working on that at the moment. The holes that were drilled were fairly shallow, so we're not expecting sort of any major surprises in terms of like a copper discovery. So we need to be realistic about our expectations. However, that drill data could prove to be extremely useful in sort of identifying mineralization and mineralizing pathfinders. So we've got, a lot to work with, and it's a really very exciting project for us.
Excellent. Well, you mentioned there about everything being financed, of course, by Pure Bond. You've closed that financing fairly recently. How supportive are the Consagras in everything that Kavango is doing here?
They couldn't be more supportive, Mark. They've been phenomenal for the business. I mean, I tell everybody this. I don't think the market has woken up to the strength of the support we now have behind us. When we did the deal with Pure Bond originally, I think our share price was around about 1.2, 1.3 pence. We agreed the terms of that back in, I think it was May, at a penny. We then had that disappointing result in the KSZ, which took our share price down to 0.6. And on the morning of that announcement, I spoke to Bulo Consagra, and his exact words were to me, he didn't care how far the share price fell. We'd done our deal at the price that he'd agreed. They weren't going to renegotiate terms, and we pushed ahead and did the deal, what was a premium then to the prevailing share price. After that, we then had to go through this torturous process with the takeover panel, this Rule 9 whitewash. It's a very cumbersome, very tricky process for a company like ours with all of the disclosures that are required. I mean, it really is a real pain. But they went through that to take the 52% stake. So having done that, what that really provides Kavango with moving forward is we now have our cornerstone investor. These guys have got very deep pockets. They've got very successful business empire. They're worth, I believe, in the region of about £1 billion. So, these guys have the risk appetite for supporting us. And of course, they have the extremely strong relationship with Peter Winterby and the phenomenal success that Peter has had at Mashiko. So it's a very, very strong relationship. They're extremely supportive of the management team. They approved our recent options award. They see the value in that in terms of incentivizing our management team. So we're in a wonderfully privileged position as a company with such strong financial and supportive backers behind us. It gives us a wonderful platform to build on, Mark.
Excellent. Well, let's finish off, Ben, by talking about Zimbabwe and, of course, your recent partnership and investment in Pambili Natural Resources there. And you quoted from the RNS saying this is an immense opportunity in Zimbabwe. So tell us why.
Well, the opportunity in Zimbabwe and Matabele land is incredible. There's been no modern exploration down there, and these are some of the most prospective rocks in the world for gold exploration. So we have this enormous opportunity in front of us as a first mover advantage. There are some other Western exploration companies who are present in the region, but they haven't been too active on the ground. And with what we've already built in terms of our infrastructure, our local team, and our pipeline, we already see that the risk to Kavango is not one of starvation, but actually indigestion. So the deal with Pambili gives us an outlet on one of the greenstone belts that we're particularly keen on in around the Bulawayo area. And the Golden Valley project that Pambili took, that was originally sort of part of our pipeline. But we decided to go for some slightly larger opportunities a little bit further afield. So it's great for us to build a relationship with a company like Pambili, with the management team that they have. And yeah, it's a very, very exciting opportunity for us. And we're looking forward to working closely with Pambili as they move into production.
Well, indeed, perhaps it's good timing as well, I say, given the gold price performance, and the theme at Resourcing tomorrow was definitely gold. How closely will you be working with Pambili then going forward? I know you were talking about moving out there into Zim actually yourself.
Yeah, I am. Well, I'm going to be moving there in January. That plan is still on, subject to an operation on my ankle, unfortunately, but we'll have to see about that. We're really looking forward to working with Pambili. They're closer to revenue generation than Kavango is, because the Golden Valley project is a bit smaller than the projects that we're looking at. So our projects are very much exploration focused. So one of the big opportunities for Kavango in this partnership is that we can start to build up our mining expertise and our local actual mining contacts in Zimbabwe while we're continuing with our primary exploration programs. From Pambili's perspective, they're able to benefit from all of the logistical, administrative, operational and exploration skills that we can provide them with, and that strength on the ground with me actually sort of being in Bulawayo to lead the business as we move forward. So it's a great opportunity, and independently, I think it is a stock that is well worth looking at. The share price has gone up quite nicely in the last couple of days, but we see a great deal of upside, particularly as we get into the underground drilling at Golden Valley. And if the grades meet what our internal projections suggest, it's going to be a very, very good project to be involved in.
Well, thank you very much for your time today, man. I hope we can get a bit more detail on this particular new project in due course. But thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks, Mark. And at some point, it would be great to have John Harris on your show, and he can talk to you directly about Pambili.
Excellent. Thank you, Ben.
Good stuff. Cheers, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.